Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. After watching the previous part, I realized that, oh hey, it seems like the volume is very loud for the audio, so I lowered it down a bit. Hopefully this is a little bit better. You can't really hear my voice too well during the other video when I'm talking about something because the game audio is just so loud. So I've turned that down a little bit to account for that.
In
But
time,
we're going
you
to
will
be
know the tragic extent of my failings.
we're going to be moving on to the first quest.
Mecca
So
of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
as you can see, we technically have a Darkest Dungeon quest that we could do, but as you can see, this is level 6 characters are requested for that, and so you know we have level 0 and level 1 characters, so we're definitely not going to do that. Level 6 is the maximum level that a character can be, and as a matter of fact, when a character gets to a certain level, they can no longer do certain levels of quests. So like this one, for example, is a level 1 quest. Once a character gets to level 3, they no longer can do any level 1 quests. So, and you know, similarly for level 3, once a character gets to level 5, they can no longer do any level 1 quests. And then there are level 5 quests. And then finally, the Darkest Dungeon with level 6 quests. So the only quest we have available is this quest. It's explore 90% of rooms. So that means we don't actually have to fight all of the monsters here. All we have to do is just explore all the rooms for the most part. It's, you know, one aside. And it isn't actually 90% completely. It's really just like all of them minus 1. If there are only like, you know, say like 6 or 7 rooms, then you can do 6 out of those 7 or something. And even though that's not 90%, it will consider it to be 90%. So it rounds up, so that's quite nice for the longevity of the crew. So we have the usual suspects, which is the first 4 characters that you obtain in the game. Rewards are a Blightstone with plus 15% Blight skill chance and minus 1 speed. We will definitely be equipping that on our Plague Doctor. And I've made the decision that I will, during this series, for every trinket that I get, I am not going to, basically, I'm not going to be switching trinkets around for each character. So for every character, whatever trinket I give them, they will keep that trinket unless I replace it with something else. So I'm not going to be like taking off everyone's trinkets and then assigning them each mission. It will just be, you know, this character, for example, will get this trinket, and even if I'm not using them, I'm not going to take this trinket off and give it to someone else. Whatever character I have will have their own specific set of trinkets for this series. And that's really just due to, you know, I don't have to do that, but I guess it's sort of putting a little restraint on myself within the series. So we'll get 4 crests and 3,000 gold just from completing the quests, but we also get whatever we find within the dungeon itself. Now if I look over this Darkest Dungeon quest, we're supposed to kill 1 Shuffling Horror, which is a boss, right? It's a level 6 boss. And we have the Book of Sanity, which gives us minus 20% stress, which is very nice. Trinket. Obviously this is level 6 quest, so this is not anything we'd be able to obtain anytime soon, but it's a very rare trinket, minus 20% stress. That's a lot of stress that we don't have to deal with. We have the Talisman of the Flame, which is minus 100% stress when you get a revelation, and minus 100% damage taken when you get a revelation. So that is pretty amazing. We get 3 of those. I assume that's like a one-use item or something. We have the crests, 18 of them, and 15,000 gold. So as you can see, the rewards, 4 crests and 3,000 gold, 4 multiplies by 4.5 to get 18 and 3,000 multiplies by 5 to get 15,000. So there is quite a difference in the gold you get. However, obviously, there's quite a difference in the level. So we're going to start this quest. So
The cost
here's
of
the provisions
preparedness.
screen.
Measured now in gold, later in blood.
As he said, you know, we get to pay gold right now to gain some provisions. And if you enter the dungeon not prepared and you encounter a scenario where you need a certain type of provision, then it will most likely cause damage and stress to your characters. So for example, these shovels, they're used to clear obstacles. Because we're doing a short dungeon, we'll take 2 of them and use them as necessary. We definitely would like to take some torches. However, because this is actually a short dungeon, you have an option to not take torches. And if you don't take torches, the difficulty of the monsters increases as the light level goes down. And if you don't have torches to put that light level back up, then the game gets more difficult. However, when the darker the light level is, the greater chance that you have of getting crits on the monsters. They also have a greater chance of getting crits on you, but you have a greater chance of getting crits on them. So it does benefit your characters to a certain extent as well. And also, you earn much, much more loot the darker it is. So I think that actually we're going to, since this is a short run, since this is the first run, and since I personally like to do the darkness runs anyway, unless I'm in danger, I'm going to do no torches for this run. We're going to take some medicinal herbs just in case we run into some certain things. I will take some bandages as well, and a couple keys just in case. That is quite a bit of money we've just spent on, you know, some of these items, but when you encounter a certain scenario where you need... Oh, no, we don't need 2. We just need 1, because we already have 1 from the Crusader. The Crusader provides us with a single holy water. And I believe the Plague Doctor provides us with the single anti-venom. But if you run into a scenario that you need one of these things, then if you have it, then you get a lot of gold, and if you don't have it, then you probably get either nothing, a lot less, or a bad event happens. Like you take stress damage, or you take actual damage, or get poisoned, or whatever. So, and then finally, food is the most important thing when providing for these quests. So we will take 12 food for a small quest. For any other quest, I usually take 24 food. I always sort of stock up a lot on the food just because... Oh wait, you can't buy 24 food, you can only buy 18. But I always sort of stock up a lot on food because if you go in there and don't have food when you need it, then you're in trouble. You're in a lot of trouble if you don't have food when you need it. This game is very... I won't say that it's actually extremely difficult or unforgiving. Like, in certain aspects, it's very unforgiving, but as a matter of fact, playing on the medium level of difficulty, I feel like it's not actually that unforgiving. You know, I've only actually, playing on this difficulty, I've only actually lost a few characters, so it's not, like, ridiculously unforgiving. So we have to explore 90% of rooms, so we'll probably go like this, 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 and this. And then we can skip this one off. Unless we happen to scout out and see that something's over there, that's good. So we've got a torch here. I guess we'll take it just in case.
A handsome reward for a task
But
well performed.
as I said before, we are going with a dark run here. So we've encountered our first enemies. These are skeletons, which are unholy enemies. So our Crusader does extra damage against them with his smite ability. Now, we cannot do a Plague Grenade because that attacks the back 2 guys. Our Plague Doctor has Battlefield Medicine, which heals Bleed and Bleed and 1 health. So that's very useful. They have Emboldening Vapors, which buffs targets, 20% damage at 3% plus 3 speed. And we can do a Noxious Blast, which is, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does Blight on the front 2 characters, 5 points for 3 rounds. So that's a total of 15 damage. That's a lot of damage. It's over the course of 3 rounds, but that's actually really good. However, I'm going to go ahead and buff up my Crusader so that he basically one-shots these guys. Open Vein is not as useful here. We can do Pistol Shot, which does how much damage? 5 to 9. So there is a chance that this will kill him. There's also a chance that it won't. We could also do Tracking Shot. Or we could do a Break Shot Blast. Which I think we'll go ahead and do the Break Shot Blast and this, because why not? They'll hit us once. Fortunately, these guys don't hit for that much. And we dodge with the Highwayman. We can do a heal real quick. We could also do the Judgment skill, but we're going to heal up our Crusader. We want to keep our health up. And finally, we get our Smite ability. So that's 85% chance, and if it hits, it's guaranteed to kill this guy. Or we could do this, which hits both of them. I'd rather take the kill.
Another one falls.
As you can see, there's a corpse left here. We're gonna do a Noxious Blast on this guy. Or we could do another Emboldening Vapors, which speeds the Crusader up more, which maybe will allow him to act quickly. We'll take a Pistol Shot here. It might be very well. We're just left with 1 health. But we can try a Judgment here. See, we have an 85% chance
As the
to hit,
fiend
and we do.
falls, a fate blossoms.
We got 1,000 gold from it, and as I said, the lower the darkness, the more gold. However, we don't actually have any extra gold right now, so because of the darkness level. So that was just where we happened to get that. This is an unlocked strongbox, which doesn't require any item to open it. Either way, you'll get the maximum. And
Finding
we got
the
a
stuff
shovel
is only the
along with
first
some gold and
test.
some jewels.
Now it must be carried home.
So already we're doing pretty well on the gold here. We can see there's an obstacle right here, which we need a shovel for. So nice that we got a shovel. And we have a battle followed by an empty room. The hallway battles are typically easier than the room battles.
Even the cold
Shovel here,
stone
because
seems
otherwise we'll
bent
take
on
stress and
preventing
damage.
passage.
We'll obtain a battle with these guys. We do have plus loot for this battle. We also have plus monster accuracy and damage, and plus monster crits, and a plus chance of getting surprised. Getting surprised typically is not that bad if you have a relatively flexible squad, but if you have a squad that's sort of bound to their own positions and can't really do anything in other positions, then it could be really bad. Now, because of the danger of this person right here, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at them.
Confidence
Now we got a
surges
crit,
as the enemy crumbles.
because as I said, player crits are increased when it's darker. And we killed them immediately. Now that character, first off, you see they didn't leave a body. So whenever you kill someone off a crit, it doesn't leave a body. And then second off, is that character that we just killed does stress damage to us, which, as I said, stress damage is really difficult to heal. So it's much better to take regular damage than it is to take stress damage. Unfortunately, our Vestal here doesn't actually have a lot of skills that she can use from the 3rd position. Now, she only has 2 skills that she can use from the 4th position. She can't use this one in the 3rd or 4th, but if she somehow gets shifted up to the front, that's not a problem. This one as well can only be used in the 3rd or front from that. But we can use this one, which does damage, and this guy is more dangerous. He does more damage, so we're going to try to use that. Only did 2 damage, but hopefully we can get him from something else. And we're going to want to buff this guy up again, so that he can probably take him out if he's faster. And he is, so he does 8 to 14 damage, 85% chance. And he did.
Continue the onslaught.
We did the minimum damage for pushing him. He had exactly 8 health left. And this guy only did 2 damage. This guy is pretty weak. He only does like 2 to 5 damage on any given hit. And this guy just used... What did he just use? A pistol shot? For some reason he has +2 speed. Not sure why that is. +2 from the quirk. What quirk do we got? Aha, quick reflexes. +2 speed. So, we're going to do this. Take that for you. And we're going to hit him with a Noxious Blast. This guy only has a 10% light resist, so he probably will die from this. And he has less accuracy.
This is how a life is taken.
Yeah, Noxious Blast is actually quite powerful. Now, we can use all of the Plague Doctor skills from the 4th position, so we're actually going to move the Plague Doctor to the 4th position so that you can use Illumination as well. Now, that does basically more Torchlight, I believe. Yeah, it reduces the dodge of the enemy and gives us a little more Torchlight, which we don't really want, but if for some reason you want it, then do that. So we have the empty room, and we could either go this way or this way, so I'll just choose this way. We have a pack up here.
A fortune waiting to be
Okay,
spent.
that was an unfortunate scenario. So what just happened was, this guy is a kleptomaniac, prone to stealing items, which means that he basically just took the items for himself. So that means I didn't actually get them here in my inventory, and I cannot use them for my own purposes. So that's like not great. We're about to enter a room battle, maybe. And so we're gonna battle these guys. Now, we definitely want to do a pistol shot against this person. For the same reason as before, unfortunately we missed. We're gonna do... We'll do a Plague Grenade, which she has 20% flight resist, but I think this is actually the best thing that we can do right now. And we didn't use with the Blight. And unfortunately they're going to do a stressful incantation, which gives her 23 stress, and now the Duchess is at 0. So the monsters are going to be getting a lot of crits on us, which will cause us some stress. However, we will also be getting some crits on them. Unfortunately, they got a lot of crits just now. So we're going to want to do Judgment on this person to reduce the stress. As much as I would like to heal, we need to get rid of this person basically ASAP. Actually, you know what? Let me heal. Do we have any bandages? We do. So we can kill this bleeding right now. So we're going to get rid of that. Now we're going to go ahead and do... We could do plus 20 for protection, but I don't really want that. We're going to smite this guy. And we're going to do probably a Grave Shot Blast, because this person is taking 4 damage per round. So if this does 4 damage to her, then it will kill her. Unfortunately, it's only a 63% chance to hit, so it missed every time. And we're going to... with you do another Plague Grenade. And hopefully it does another Blight. So now you're retired again. Take 8 damage per round. And you are attacking this person, which is fine because he has quite a bit of health. You're going to heal this person up. Please don't get a crit. He didn't crit, but he did 10 damage. This guy is dangerous. He does so much
Their
damage.
formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
That's fine. He's on move. So he's now taking quite a bit of bleed damage. Should I use my other bandage? I'm going to, because that you would have taken like 4 damage otherwise. So you are not that resistant to bleed, so I can go ahead and do this to you. And we can go ahead. Now we missed. last time. Unfortunately, he resisted that as well. We're going to heal up our Crusader again. And finish you off.
Give them no quarter.
So we got some busts, which are nice, and we got some gold. And from here, look, we have a chest, and if you use a key on a chest, then it unlocks a hidden compartment, and we get more stuff. And because it's dark, we even got more stuff. So, one of the reasons why I got the food, this isn't the main reason, but one of the reasons why I got this food was because you can use food a little bit to heal up some health. And because our Crusader is doing really bad on health, we'll eat 4 food. You can only eat 4 food at a time, that yields 8 total health, and then they get full. But because he was running pretty low on the health, I think that's a worthy use. We still have 8 food, which means that even if we were to encounter the hunger event twice, fortunately we dodged that trap, even if we were to encounter the hunger event twice in a row, we would still have enough food to do that. We encountered an empty room, so we could go this way and search this room, but I think I'll just continue this way so that we can avoid any backtracking. And we obtained a Haste Chalice, plus 8 speed on the first round, plus 2 speed on after the first round, but minus 25% stun skill change. So that's really good for any character that doesn't have a stun skill. Eat food, we got lots of food, so as a matter of fact, since we got so much food, and we got a single torch and some busts. So, is this guy still full? Yeah, he's still full. Well, we can use this food now, since we just got so much of it. Heal this guy up, and then we can drag this over here and put it in the same pile. Now, this I probably will... Oh, this is the Vestal only. So, the Vestal doesn't even have a stun skill, I think. Yeah, this Vestal doesn't even have a stun skill. So, I'm gonna put this on here. That's just a lot of speed for a Vestal. Plus 8 on the first round, and then plus 2 for every other round. That's very nice. We did get the hunger, but we have enough food for 3 hungers. So we just ate a bunch of food. And we're going to go in here with the full darkness. Nothing in here. So we're going to continue on. We're almost done with this dungeon. If this was a longer dungeon, at this point I'd probably use some torches to, reduce the risk of dying. But because this is the last room, we're good. So as long as we can survive this fight, we should be fine. So I'm going to do judgment on this guy who can cause stress.
A momentary abatement.
We use the Temple Goblin on us, which causes some stress. Now we're going to do... We're going to do a great shot. Unfortunately, this guy dodged, which really sucks. But we're going to do a plague grenade now. And that guy dodged again, which really sucks. So this guy's taking quite a bit of plague damage. But he's going to attack the Vestal, which is actually not the worst thing in the world, because the Vestal can heal herself through judgment. So she can both attack and heal herself at the same time. I'm going to kill this guy with the Crusader, because he does a lot of damage. And the Axe Blade is not that bad, only does 6 damage. We're now going to throw another plague grenade, and hopefully this guy actually gets plague. And if he's not, which is really bad, we're going to use judgment on this guy. We're going to crit him, which heals a little bit of the stress for the party. And gives you a buff, plus 25% for the healing skills. So that means that I probably want to use you to heal next round. We're going to use, you are already dead because you're taking 8 damage per round, and you only have 1 health left. So we're going to use an open vein on this guy. I know that the Unholy can't bleed, but I can't use a pistol shot on him since he's in first position. He's going to use an Axe Blade on us to do 6 damage. Now we're going to smite him and miss. We can now use our Vestal though. We'll do a Noxious Blast here, because they're not resistant to Blight. Not sure how exactly that works. I'm going to assume it's just like acidic, and it's like boiling down your bones or something. I'll stab you again, you're at 1 health now, and you're blighted, so you're actually dead as soon as you get a turn. Now we're going to heal up this guy. And we'll take this money. We got a diamond, a jade, all this money, and a key. No, we want to continue adventuring.
Merely a trick of the light.
And we want to look what's in the chest. And get everything. So we can go ahead and drop basically everything that is just supplies. As you can see, we clearly oversupplied ourselves here. However, it was merely because we had a chance of running into things that we could have used those supplies on, and we happened to not run into them. So, not that this actually does anything, but you know. And we can use our first purchase. And we can finish the quest. So, we got 4,600 gold plus the 3,000 that we already would have earned, along with quite a lot of the heirlooms. And we had 2 people level up and get some traits. We'll take a look at those. So this guy got Wield Phobe, plus 20% of stress in the wield, which is not that bad of a trait to have because it means really just don't take him in the wield. Like otherwise it's not actually doing anything for us bad. He got plus 15% healing skills while camping, which I'll have to take into account when I'm upgrading his camping skills. And improved stress reduction while meditating while camping. So that's something good to have. So I know this video is running a bit long, but I guess for Darkest Dungeon, I think I'll just have the long videos in general. I'll do 1 run per video because the runs can be really long. As a matter of fact, sometimes the runs for the long dungeons, they might even last up to like an hour or something, maybe even more. But, you know, I mean, the way I see it is, if you're gonna watch a video, like if you only want to watch a little bit of it, then just watch like, you know, the first 15 minutes and then watch the next 15 minutes later, right? Or something like that. But I'll do 1 run basically per video. However long that takes is however long the video will be. So from week 2, we got the tavern is now unlocked, the abbey is now unlocked. So those are 2 buildings where we can send our characters there to get some stress relief. This week the only character that really needs any stress relief is Bon Valet and maybe Dismas. The cheapest one for Dismas. Probably the cheapest one for Bon Valet as well. And then we have, they were successful in exploring the ruins. So we have the tavern over here,
Fresh kegs,
which we'll
cards,
send Bon
and
Valet there.
curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
And we have the abbey, which
The
we'll
cobwebs
send
have been
Dismas
dusted,
there
the pews
to do a little
set
bit
straight.
of meditation.
The abbey calls to the faithful.
And these guys have little enough stress to the point where they can afford to go on another adventure. So with the stagecoach, we have 3 new heroes. We have the Bounty Hunter, which we have not seen before.
The thrill
We have
of
the
the
Leper,
hunt.
which we also have not seen
The
before.
promise of
And we have
pain.
another Vestal. So the party this time looks like it's going to be consisted of, I guess, the Plague Doctor, combined with the Bounty Hunter, the Leper, and the Vestal. Now, as far as our heirlooms go, we've gotten quite a few of them. So for the stagecoach, we can indeed upgrade it. Number of available heroes to 4. Or we could increase the roster size to 12. Which, I think because we have so many heroes right now, upgrading it to 4 won't be too big of a deal. But increasing it to 12, we should probably go ahead and just do. Let's take a look at the other things that we can upgrade. So, we could upgrade the Nomad Wagon. We could increase the trinkets available. Not that I, once again, really want to do that, but if I can't upgrade anything else, let's take a look at the other things. So we have the Tether. We can increase stress recovery for the bar, which, because we have someone in the bar, that's actually
With enough
something that we
ale,
probably want to do.
maybe they can be inured
We can also do
against
that
the
for this with
horrors
this.
below.
But let's take a look at the Abbey. And we could increase the stress recovery for the Cloister, which is what's happening for Dismas. So
Little hope,
we'll go ahead and do
however
that as well.
desperate, is never without worth.
It looks like just about every single upgrade requires both crests and something else. Once in a while you get something like the Nomad Wagon that only requires crests, but basically crests are sort of required to upgrade just about everything. It's very rare to find something that requires, you know, things that are not crests to upgrade. And then like usually like one of the other 3 types of heirlooms. So you can actually trade out certain heirlooms, right? So like I could trade out 2 busts for 3 crests. And similarly, I could trade out 1 portrait for 3 crests, 2 portraits for 3 busts or 3 deeds. I could do 2 deeds for 3 crests. And because I have so many portraits, I'm going to trade them out for some crests. What do I want to upgrade though, if I do trade these out for crests? Maybe the Nomad Wagon? Maybe the Stagecoach? For the Stagecoach, I would need both deeds and crests. For, what about the Taverns? Tavern, I need portraits, so I could, however, upgrade all these 3 things if I traded out enough, because I would just need to trade out 6 for some crests. So if I did something like this, I could trade this out for this, and then what I could do is do this and this.
All manner of diversion
And
and
now I have
dalliance
10
await
crests,
those who cross the threshold with
so I
coin in
believe I can
hand.
upgrade the Nomad Wagon as well. Number of available treatments. So that's that. What else could I upgrade? The Abbey, if I had 5 crests, I could upgrade. So I need 8 busts. So if I traded out my other 8 busts for crests, then I would have enough.
A man in a robe,
So I've now gotten the first
claiming
level on
communion
basically
with the
everything that I could
divine.
possibly upgrade.
Madness.
Yes, except for the Stagecoach, of course. Which I would need deeds for. But we've gotten the first level on everything that we can upgrade at this point, so that's nice. As you can see, you can trade things out. It's often not recommended to trade things out because, like for example, when you have a single portrait and like it's very difficult to get portraits, whereas it's very easy to get crests. So like trading out 1 portrait for 3 crests, it may seem good in the moment when you have a lot of portraits, but then it's really difficult to get a lot of portraits later on, maybe. The other thing is that if you want to go from crests to portraits, then you have to give up 3 of them for every single portrait. So, but let's take a look at the quests that we can embark on. We have 4 available quests. 2 of them are short quests, and 2 of them are medium quests. I think for the second week we should probably just do another short one. So, let's take a look. We have a scout quest, where explore 90% of rooms, and we would get... As a matter of fact, for the Plague Doctor, we want to equip this trinket that we just got. So that's done. We're not going to unequip that at this point. So we would get a leper trinket, plus 20% healing received, and a couple busts and some gold. Or we could get a damage stone, plus 10% damage and minus 4 dodge. That could be useful on a character that doesn't have a lot of dodge in the first place, like a crusader or a leper. As you can see, his dodge is only 5, so basically He's probably not going to dodge anyway. The dodge of Dismas is 10, which is twice that. Of course, that would mean that he's basically guaranteed not to dodge, which is not great. The Vestal's dodge is actually 0, so technically speaking, putting it on the Vestal would not have any penalty at all. Same thing for the Plague Doctor, but for those guys, they don't do much damage, so having plus 10% damage would help, but it wouldn't help that much. Bounty Hunter has 5 dodge. Leper has 0 dodge, so I think I would put it on him if I were going to put it on anyone. So I could either do this Leper specific trait, or get a stone that I would probably put on a Leper. So, do I want more damage, or do I want more healing? That's the question. And do I want busts or beads? Doesn't really matter to me. I guess we'll go with the healing. So, for the party, we'll have the Leper be first in the line. Yes, because all of his skills can be used in the first position. We'll have the Bounty Hunter be the second, because all of his skills can be used in the second position. Yes. We will have you be the fourth position, probably, because you can do all of your skills from the third or the fourth position. And you can use 3 of your fourth skills in the third position, so we will do that. You can also use 3 of your 4 skills in the fourth position, so as a matter of fact, let's switch these guys out. So these guys are interchangeable, it doesn't matter third or fourth. But I am going to end the video for now, right here. So this has been Dubs the Dupe, playing Darkest Dungeon with part 2. I know this has been quite a long video probably, but that's just how these videos are going to go. I'm going to do one run per video and set up the other one. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.